Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law with Hacking Immigration Law LLC. We have offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. This is episode number 256 episodes of the Immigration Answers Show. I'm here today with my good friend Huli. Huli is womaning the comments. Leave Huli some love in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Let us know why you're interested in immigration. I have my Yes sweatshirt on today. It's one of my favorite pieces of clothing. It's been too warm to bring out, but here it is. It's back for the winter. Things are starting to cool off here in America, in St. Louis in particular. We've got a full waiting room. Everybody's ready to go. I think this is going to be one of the best shows ever. I shot some fun videos today. Somebody asked me in the comments a little while ago to shoot a video on questions to ask an immigration lawyer when you're thinking about hiring them. That was fun. And so I have seven questions that you should ask a potential immigration lawyer. I think you'll find them to be thoughtful and thought-provoking. And then the other video that I shot this morning, which will be coming out in a few weeks, will be what to do with all these notices that you receive that don't make any sense. So USCIS likes to send out notices that don't make any sense. These might be electronic notices. These might be paper notices. But we did a video today on the types of screwball notices that we've seen. Even Adela gave me an idea for one kind of notice that she was surprised that one of our clients received. But all that being said, let's get this show started. Now, there's somebody in the waiting room who calls himself Big O. Now, how could I not start the show without Big O? So it's got to be Big O first.
Hi, Jim. Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Thanks to having me. I'm fine. Thanks to having me on your show. It's very great. Nothing. So this is the deal. So I'm from Italy. I know my wife for about 10 years. So we met in 2012 on cruise ship because I'm working on cruise ship. Nothing. So last year I am entry with Esta and we decided to get married. We get married on January 8th and we filed the petition I-30 and I-751, I-31 and I-485. So all of it. We send everything, the evidence. On the April, they got my fingerprint, biometrics, and was pretty quick. So on 26 April, I received the AID with the social security number. Then, so supposed to be, so because I want to go to work. Anyway, in July, 2 weeks ago, we called USCIS just for curiosity to ask how was going my case, if they still looking at because on I-485, I'm see on the case status online that says case being activity review. Then, so when we call it, my wife called, and they say to her that the interview was canceled, was waived and canceled on 1st of July. So I don't know. So what do you think? So when should be they can contact me or something like that?
So my first question is, what kind of a visa did you have when you entered the United States on this last entry?
Esta.
Okay, great.
Esta, yeah.
Okay. And if I were to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is we submitted a ton of marital evidence and 0 is we submitted a little bit of evidence, where would you say you fall on that scale of 1 to 10?
7.
7. Okay. And so, I mean, usually when the interview's waived, then the green card comes pretty quickly after. People in the comments might have some ideas. I mean, July to now, that seems like a long time. Like if they truly waived the interview, that they would have given the green card sooner. So,
Do you think will be conditional green card? or
Sure. Yeah, unless you've been married 2 years, it'd be conditional green card, right.
I mean, I just got married
Yeah,
January
so it'd be a 2-year conditional green card, but that'd be great if they didn't have the interview. But what I'm saying is, if they waived the interview in July, then they should have issued the green card sooner, right? I don't know why they haven't.
Yeah, I don't know because they just told me verbally on the by phone, but I don't see anything on the case statute online. I mean, my field office is San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, so I think you're just waiting. I mean, the whole thing's pretty quick. I think you're just waiting.
Okay, one more question. In
Sure.
case, because I wanna, I wanna be working in case nothing happen until next year. So the case can be transferred on National Visa Center or not?
National Benefit Center or National Visa Center?
No, National Visa Center,
Well, that would only be if they
NVC.
thought you were overseas, but they know you filed a 45, so that's probably not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
I have one other question for you, Big O, and that is
Yeah,
this:
yeah.
when did you enter the United States, and when did you get married?
I'm entering United States end of September 2021 and get married 8 January 2022.
Perfect. Okay, great. All right, good luck, my friend. Keep us posted, okay?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
See you,
Bye.
buddy. All right, so always happy to hear about things moving quickly, things moving faster. Love hearing things like interviews being waived, and love hearing about people get their EADs quickly. So I think Big O's in good shape, and we thank him for starting off the show with us. All right, all right. Let's say hi to Hazel. Thank you, Amra. Amra brought me some water. Let's bring Hazel on up. How are you?
Hi, Jim. I'm good. How are you?
Great. What can I help you with today?
So I have a few questions about employment. I recently moved to SF from India on H4 visa, but I've held F1, B1, B2 previously. But this time I am waiting to get my EAD card. But my question is, can I continue working as a freelancer or a consultant for an Indian tech company while I'm waiting for my EAD card in the US?
So this is something that we've talked about before on the show, and that is that our nation's immigration rules have not caught up with modern day technology. So, the system really isn't set up. They don't really comprehend the realities of technology and how, when these laws were last amended, you couldn't work for an Indian company remotely from the United States for any sustained period of time. So,
Oh,
in answer to your question, I always ask people, think of a spectrum. On the one end is you want to be as careful as possible not to get into any kind of immigration trouble. On the other one is, can we sort of push the envelope and see what happens? I'm generally more willing to let people push the envelope and see what happens when they're waiting for an EAD based on marriage, because if they worked without permission, it's forgiven because they're married to a US citizen. But for an H4, that wouldn't be the case. So I would say that if you want to be completely, utterly, totally safe, the answer is no.
no.
Um,
Okay.
but if you're willing to, if I mean, I think that if you're doing work for an Indian company, you're being paid into a bank account in India, it's going to be hard for the US government to treat that as illegal employment in the United States. But I'm not in charge of things, right? And I don't know what they would do when the time comes for you to get your green card. I don't think it would be a problem, but
Okay.
that's not an argument you want to be having when a green
Hmm.
card is at risk.
Okay. Is this an option where I don't get the payment into my bank account and I can kind of work like a volunteer
I
as
think
a
all that stuff is BS, and that's actually worse. Working as a volunteer, everyone knows that's lying, and
okay.
that's sneaky. So I'd rather you be upfront about it and say this isn't illegal working in the United States, but that's really aggressive, and I don't know that there's support out there to support it. So again, to be completely safe, don't do it. If you want to take your chance, then just know that at the end of the day, you might be sitting across from an immigration officer who feels like being a jerk and doesn't want to let you get your green card because you were working in the United States without authorization.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, I'm on, do you know Wanda Rich? She was the one who referred me to
I
you.
mean,
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
remember anybody I talked to yesterday, so that's no surprise.
Okay, fine. So I get that. To be completely safe, I better not work as a consultant or freelancer.
Until you get the H4 EAD. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Bye, Hazel. See ya. All right, that was Hazel. We got someone up next named Question Asker in St. Louis. Hello, Question Asker in St. Louis.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for taking me.
Sure.
So I'm actually a U.S. citizen based in St. Louis, and I'm asking about a situation for myself and a friend.
Okay.
I'm in a close personal relationship with someone who's not a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
He's currently here in the U.S. on a tourist visa. We've known each other for 18 years. He's actually currently staying with family in California. We're in the process of starting a family together, and we'd like to get married so we can raise our child together.
Sure.
We don't currently live together, but once I get pregnant, the plan is for him to move in. Is there a state where you think it'd be more ideal? I guess an element of this is that it's an unconventional relationship. Like he's normally into men and I'm also into men. So, but we do want to co-parent together. So, do you think that there's a state where it would be more ideal to get married in for him to file for citizenship in?
Ooh.
Like Missouri or California are our two main options.
So we'd be talking about getting a green card first, then citizenship later. So that's one thing.
Mhm.
So the big thing, I think, we can talk about where to file first, but the first thing I think that's going to be true wherever you file is that USCIS is sort of traditional, right? I remember when the Obergefell decision came down and they started recognizing same-sex marriages for purposes of immigration, that there were a couple officers who were sort of very Catholic in St. Louis and very sort of uptight about it.
Yeah.
Um,
But we're not sex marriage either.
No, I know. I know.
Right.
I'm just saying, as far as looking at things, except what they're used to, right? Like
Right.
they're very traditional.
Right.
The question at the end of the day is whether or not you're getting married for love or for some other reason.
Right.
So I think if you went in there and we're talking about co-parenting and past relationships and wanting to have a kid together, they might scratch their head a little bit and say, well, where's the love? Where's the relationship? Is the marriage for purposes of obtaining an immigration benefit, or is it to start a family? And so I think that you want to be in the time once you get started, and if you file, that you're going to want to sort of think about how to articulate best the relationship that you and your spouse at that point would have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying another way is maybe encouraging you to be a little bit like, don't say everything, right? Like, obviously if they ask a question, you have to answer, like, but they don't often ask about prior sex partners or prior orientations or any of that stuff. So I think if go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I wasn't planning on letting them know. It was just like for a few, I wouldn't want to let on like that we're in a traditional relationship because we're not. I wouldn't want to like just like like I don't want to pretend that we're, we are in a physical relationship right now for the sake of having a kid, but we're not like, I don't know. I don't know how much they ask about like, it sounds like you're saying they don't typically ask about that.
Well, but how are you going to handle, like, are you going to open up joint bank accounts? Are you going to live together? Are you going to have, a life together? Because that's the thing. You're going to have to bring a lot of evidence of a shared life together.
Okay. What are like some of those kinds of things, like a joint bank account, living together?
Well, yeah. So funny that you ask. If you go to hackingimmigrationlaw.com/marital/evidence, there's a whole list for it. Julio put it in the comments, but basically, and this is what I meant sort of about them being traditional. You're going to need to demonstrate that your relationship looks like what they're used to seeing in an approved I-130 case. So that is, the couple lives together. The couple, like, think of it this way. They think everybody's lying to them. and they think everybody has a fake relationship,
Right.
And they think that people are just scamming the system to get a green card for the non-US citizen.
Right.
So to the extent that your family doesn't, your family setup doesn't look like what they're used to seeing, that makes them sit on cases in the hopes that you get divorced.
Oh, okay.
Or that the hopes that they can deny the case.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is, if you want them to approve the case, it's going to need to look a lot like what they're used to seeing.
Sure. Do you think that there's any benefit of getting married in California instead of Missouri? Like in
where you get married makes no difference. Now, the interesting part of your question was, where do I think they'd be maybe more open to unconventional situations? I mean, I think as long as it's within the parameters, you can't really do much predicting about that, because you never know which officer you're going to get.
Right.
You could get some hard ass in Sacramento, or you could get some flaming liberal in St. Louis, right? So that's I don't spend much time trying to gauge that. I mean, overall, generally, California is a much more liberal place than Missouri, but that's not a very sophisticated analysis.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's like a more of a backlog for cases in California. If it would
there is. Yeah, for
so
sure.
it would take longer than in Missouri, probably.
Yeah,
right?
You'd have an interview sooner in St. Louis than you would in a lot of places, really.
Okay. Yeah, and I would definitely not want to go through this without a lawyer, I think, because I'm very new to this. Like, this is not.
Sure.
I was happy that you practice in both states, because I think that could be helpful. And
well, if you want to, we have a great intake team. If you want to talk to one of our lawyers, Paul, he does a lot of our intake calls.
Okay.
You can tell him you were on the show. He can watch this part of it, and you just email the team and say I was on the show. I'm question asker, and then they'll follow up. And obviously, that's all confidential, right?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks for coming on. Interesting question. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks.
See ya. All right. That's what we like to hear. We always like to hear something new, something different, something a little bit to put USCIS on their heels. I love sticking it to them. So that would be an interesting case to work on. All right. Let's say hi to Riputaman.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Pretty good, actually. I have a question regarding F1 visa. So there's a friend of mine. She is in her graduating semester. She has one course. So that course is 3 credits. So in order to maintain your full-time, maintain that you're studying full-time, you need to make sure you have 9 credits. But the thing is, she only had, 3 credits left to finish her course load. So because of that, she had to inform the international, department that we have here that is responsible for having a contact between the USCIS and the university. They thought it's just her normal semester, and she applied for her. The only way to show that you are in a reduced enrollment is to apply for graduations. She did apply for graduation based on the deadlines provided by the university itself. Like October 1st was the deadline, and it got approved. But the thing is, the international's office, the ISSO, they didn't get that information on time. So they had a deadline saying that 21st September was the time, and now she received an email saying her F1 status terminated. Is there a way to justify that there's a misunderstanding because of some deadlines that were mentioned on our course sheet, official course sheet, and even the deadlines on our website for graduation, saying that October 1st was our deadline, and that information confused her, and then she applied later. Is there a way to get that F1 visa active again?
So what does the university say? This is sort of their mess. What do they say?
Honestly, they told us to speak to them, like as in the university told to speak to the ISO, the DSO of our university, basically. But as far as what the online research I've done, and spoken to a couple of people, they mentioned that it's highly unlikely that the DSO would change this, because even though there's a solid reason stating that there are multiple places, even on our official course deadlines, stating that October 1st is our final end date. To apply for graduation so that you can be enrolled for reduced course load. they're like, the ISSO, the international subsidy, like the DSO, mentioned in email, through email, that 21st September is the last day. So she did a mistake on her end to like was not able to see the email that stated 21 September as the deadline.
So is the idea that the person would take 3 hours this semester or in the spring?
In this semester, she was taking 3 hours this semester, and she was supposed to graduate this semester. It's just that she applied late.
Okay, so I don't understand how this happened, because this is a big mess. Obviously, it's a big mess. So here I am. I'm 3 hours away from graduating.
Oh no,
and
like not 3 hours away from graduating. Like oh yeah, basically, yeah, three credit hours she has. Yeah.
I'm 3 credit hours away from graduating.
Mhm.
I've been going to this school for 4 years.
Yeah. Well, 2 years, masters basically.
Okay, so this is now October 3rd. Why wasn't this taken care of before the semester started?
They have this kind of deadline that
I
they
don't care about the deadlines. Why wasn't it handled back in August? Like,
because
how did she get in her mind that it'd be okay just to take 3 hours? That's what I don't understand.
oh, so the thing is, this is her final semester. So based on like F1 visa, if you need to take the credit in order to complete her course, she has to take the remaining credit hours in the last semester, and somehow it was not communicated to the the DSO or the ISSO in our university.
That's what I'm trying to get to. I understand all that. I know the rules. What I'm trying to understand is, why did this student think that it'd be okay to only enroll in 3 hours? Why didn't they talk to somebody?
Oh, it's because that was the only amount of hours that was left for her to graduate.
But she has to keep 12 hours a semester in order to maintain her status.
Or basically apply for 3 hours and then also apply for graduation. That is a system we have in our university, where you apply for graduation and do 3 credit hours, and then that would be considered as reduced course load since it's our final semester.
Okay, so what's the question for me?
So the question is it possible for her to she has her graduation approved, she has her reduced she has like the final course left. Is it possible to get this F1 visa, the Savis termination, back to active?
What does the school say?
They said to contact the DSO or the ISSO.
Well, why hasn't she?
She has appointment in an hour.
In an hour?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems to me like there's a little bit of blame for everybody, don't you think?
Yes, even I agree. Yes.
Yeah, so and I also say that seems like, why did the school rush to terminate her CVIS record? Like, most
that's like crazy, actually.
Yeah, I would really be sort of upset about that. I mean, your friend is going to need to advocate for herself like she never has before. Like, this is outrageous that the university would terminate her CVIS record, mess up her status without having a meeting. They did that without having a meeting?
No, they didn't have any meeting with her. She just communicated through email stating that, oh, this is the deadline. Never give a reminder in the middle, like last day reminder, nothing. They just went like, what? Oh, by the way, on 29th, you're getting an email saying that, your service is terminated. That's it.
Okay. So here's what I would do. I would say to the officer, to the DSO, I want to record this interview. I want to record this meeting, and I want to lay out for you exactly what happened. And I want to hear what the university's position is, because you guys fucked this up.
Yeah.
You guys messed this up. Yes, I should have seen that there were 2 different deadlines, that there's an October 1st deadline and a September 24th deadline. But at the same time, you guys should have been looking out for me. You guys should have, I can't be the first international student to come up upon 3 hours left in a semester before grad. This has to have happened before. How could you not have a system for taking care of this? And at the very least, reach out to me before you terminated my effing CVIS record.
Yeah, that's the thing. So in the start, we actually sent them an email about it, and they replied back through an email. It's probably some student worker in the ISO. They even hire student workers, by the way, like incapable people. But anyway, so they sent an email stating, you have 2 options. You can either reinstate, or you can just get a new service record and come back. Problem is, this is her graduating semester, and if she does that, her OPT is fucked.
Right.
She can't do OPT.
That's the big problem. Right.
Yeah.
So I think she needs to be advocating for reinstatement, and then tell her if that won't happen, then you want to meet with the general counsel because they screwed up and she's going to sue them.
Okay, cool. Is it possible if you can hire a lawyer from your end?
I'm not getting involved in this old mess. You might be able to find a lawyer to help, but she should advocate for herself most forcefully. But most important, if they won't let her record it, tell her to write down every single thing that everybody says. She needs to know the name of everybody in the meeting. She needs to know the time the meeting starts. She needs to write down word for word as best she can everything that everybody's saying.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
makes sense.
she needs to document this because she's going to have to appeal to higher ups probably to get some help with this. They really screwed her over. I can't believe they terminated her CVIS record without talking to her.
Yeah, only mode of communication they have was email. Like,
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
All right, well, let us know how it goes. Good luck.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, see ya. All right. Let's say hi to Waleed. Hi, Waleed.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, but today I'm not okay.
What's up?
I'm gonna ask you about something happened to me a few days ago. The council in Jerusalem called me after I sue the government by you.
Yeah.
They called me and told me that you are not allowed to enter United States, and we will send you a mail by mail document describe why we refused you.
Okay.
So yesterday or today I got the mail from the mailbox, and they described that I got denied because I have engaged in some terrorist things. I don't know what they mean by that.
Okay.
So I emailed your office, and they told me that they can't do anything about that. And in the file that they sent to me by mail, they said that I can't make a waiver for my application for my visa.
That's true.
So yeah, I I don't know what to do after that, because I don't know how did they judge me like that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to talk about your case in particular because I don't want to talk about client stuff out on the open on the air because we're on YouTube. But generally, these embassies can make that determination that usually it's about membership in a group, that if you've been in a group that they deem to be a terrorist organization, then they can keep you from getting a visa. There is no way to appeal it. They don't have to tell you what they mean. Sometimes during the lawsuit, you can ask what they're referring to, but you can't get them to reverse the decision. So they're not going to reverse that decision.
Okay, so I need to go to United States because my wife is there and my 2 children is there. We can't live here actually because the situation in Palestine. I'm from Palestine, from West Bank. There's a conflict here. Maybe you know about it.
Sure.
Between Palestinian and Israeli. Yeah, the conflict make us in danger. We live in a danger area here, so I don't want my children to grow up here. Actually, it's too dangerous for them and for me and for my family. So maybe is there any chances to take this off and apply for another application?
Well, again, if you want to talk to our team, we should do this off the air. I'll just generally say that it's almost impossible. Once they've made a terrorist determination, it's almost impossible to get them to reverse it. So I don't think they're going to give you a visa to the United States.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
All right, Waleed, we'll talk later, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's say hi to Ali. Hi, Ali.
Hi, Jim. How are you doing today?
Good. What's up?
I'm okay. Thank you so much for picking me up, and I really appreciate the way like you are working for Like, I really appreciate this show.
Awesome.
All right, so I have a question. I think I was in a last show, but I forget to ask a question. The
Okay.
question was like, my relative, she came to the United States on the marriage-based visa, spouse-based visa. Okay, her husband is a U.S. citizen. Okay, the marriage was registered overseas in 2018, and so she got the visa and she came to the United States, and the marriage got broken
I
because of
remember.
that. Yeah. So she has a 10-year card, even though her husband has that card. He sent a WhatsApp photo. Here is a card.
I
So
remember.
can she live in US for like my question is, her husband can cancel her card, like if the card is 10-year?
Well, a U.S. citizen can't cancel the green card of somebody else. They can write a mean letter to USCIS, but as we mentioned the other day, that is her property. That's not his property. So
That's true.
I guess he could cut it up with scissors, but he can't cancel it. There's no rule that says, oh, if your marriage doesn't work out, that the U.S. citizen can cancel the green card. So I don't think you need to worry about that so much. You need to worry about him like messing with her immigration case and writing a letter saying, she only married me to get a green card. She didn't really love me, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I understand. I understand what do you mean. But basically, he's asking for the divorce. She's not asking for the divorce. So there are a
Right.
lot of evidence. Yeah. So another thing, like she can work also on this 10-year card in United
Mhm.
States.
Yeah.
All right. Also, she can she like bring her mother for a visit?
I mean, the mother can apply. She's probably not going to get a visit visa. She could apply, but it won't be because the daughter has a green card. It's because she's convinced them that she'll go back to her home country.
Mm-hmm. All right. And one last question: when she is going for the citizenship, so there could be a because when she landed after like a week, the husband demand for the divorce, right?
Yeah.
But right. So at the time of the citizenship, there could be a lot of questions on it, right? They don't have a history together.
Right. Which is why I said that she really needs to document any kind of verbal abuse, mental abuse, a timeline. She needs to write down whatever evidence she can get that the marriage was real. And she's
Mhm,
that's going to be the hardest part. The hardest part is going to be citizenship because
mhm.
they never really lived together. And she's going to have to
Exactly.
prove that this was a real marriage, but my husband was a psycho and
Hmm.
he held my green card hostage.
Yeah, of course.
Like I might even I would talk to her divorce lawyer before she did this, but I might even think about filing a police report for my stolen green card.
Hmm.
They probably won't do anything about it. I know they won't do anything about it, but having that police report will help her document what a nut this guy is.
Exactly, exactly. So that because she want to live and she want to work over there. She want to make her future because
Sure.
the hardest thing in the human life is like a wait because she wait since 2018 and she got the opportunity to meet her husband and to spend her happy life. But it become very sad for the family and for her.
Sure.
But she's
Sure.
surviving and she's thinking like maybe she can do something in the US because this is the land of opportunity and you can maybe make your future bright, right? So,
It's a tough case, but again, I would get that divorce lawyer to get that green card back, and then I would start documenting. I would just start keeping a diary of all the divorce isn't going to be fun probably.
exactly.
So just keep track of all of it. And I mean, they will, in my experience,
Hmm.
they will, if she can get enough evidence and if she comes across as believable, they'll believe her that a U.S. citizen tried to hold this green card hostage. That's something that happens. Maybe I should do a video on this. Green card held hostage.
Yes.
All right,
Hmm.
Ali, I'm going to let you go, bud.
Yeah, that was the only question, Jim.
All right,
So,
buddy. Have a great
thanks, man.
day.
Thank
Good
you.
week.
All the best. God bless you.
All right,
Thank
see
you.
you, man. All right, let's say hi to Arthur. Hi, Arthur.
Hey Jim, how are you? Oh, you've
Great. How are you
improved so
doing?
much. Okay, very good. Since last time I spoke with you, you even look better. But
Hmm.
I'm gonna make it very short. I've petitioned my mom for an immigration I petitioned her to immigrate to the United States.
Yep.
And everything went well. Everything is fine, and I got an interview for National Visa Center in Poland. And
Okay.
right now in Russia, there's a mess been happening since early this year. So Poland completely shut down their borders, and we have no way of entering the country. So the question I have is, what would you recommend? Should I? Because there's the interview is scheduled for October 28th, like this month, and I have no, like, they're not even permitting people with the Schengen visa in hand
Yeah.
to enter. So it's a very challenging situation. I was thinking about transferring the case. What do you think about? What would you recommend I do? Any thoughts?
I missed what passport mom has.
Oh, she has a Russian passport.
Russian passport.
Yeah.
So right now, Poland's sort of sick of Russians coming for interview because they have so many Ukrainians and things are just there's already Russians coming.
Because of the current war situation that's happening, they
Right.
recently announced September 24th, I think it's something around that time, that they're not going to allow any Russian citizens in the Poland. So I called Poland, I called embassy in Moscow, I called many people trying to see what would be the best way to enter it. And recently, a couple weeks ago, they actually announced that whether you even have a visa in hand. Normally, if you have a visa in hand, it would allow you to in, but right now doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm looking into contacting different embassies, see if they would accept my case transfer.
Yeah. Where do you think what embassy are you thinking of?
I'm thinking Jerusalem so far.
And mom could get a visa to Israel?
I think this is a visa-free place. Even if you So I was looking into those.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you what, Arthur, do me a favor. I want you to send me an email. And say I was on the show because there's somebody else in the office I want to ask the answer to your question. Generally, I'm not a big fan of trying to move cases from one embassy to another just because logistically it's difficult because like you said, first you have to get the receiving embassy to accept it, and then you have to convey to the sending embassy to send it, and it doesn't always get things. It's hard to get all those pieces to fall into place. But given the fact that it sounds like Poland is shutting down, or has shut down to Russian nationals, I think maybe it might be worth a shot.
You have no idea how many resources I've looked up and checked. They're like, I'm sure there is some way of getting in there, but just for typical citizen not trying to get there to attend their interview. In the Russian Moscow embassy even told me for your requested visa type or your request, it's not possible, basically, something like that. It's not basically.
Well, shoot me an email and I'll talk to Andrew and then we'll go from there. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Arthur. See you, buddy.
All right. Bye.
All right. Let's say hi to Roxanne. Hi, Roxanne.
Hi. Hi, Jim.
How are you?
Oh, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Oh, good. Thank you. I had a question. So basically, I'm a petitioner for I filed a I-130 for my mom. She lives in Haiti, and everything is going fine. I do have like an immigration attorney handling the case, and recently we got an email saying that all the paperwork that was needed from both me, we do have a sponsor as well, and from her, or have all been approved. So right now, I was told that the next step is to wait until I receive in the mail like the interview date that my mother would have to have her interview. She's in Haiti, and she would have to have an interview at the U.S. Embassy in Haiti in order for her to get that interview, and from there on for her case to proceed. But right now, Haiti is in a very, very bad state, and it's to a point where like my mom's safety is in danger really badly. She does have a visitor's visa. She got one renewed a couple of months ago for the next 5 years. So she does visit me at times. I think my question here is trying figure at risk, I've been trying to ask my immigration attorney, is there a way to move her case to the US here instead due to her safety being in such a danger? And I have yet to get a response from him. So I thought to ask you what you would suggest and what you would think would be possible to bring her case here if possible.
Did you help your mom fill out the application for the visit visa?
No, my mom's had her visitor. She's had her visitor's visa for quite a long. It's every 5 years. She just makes sure to be on top of it to renew it on time. And every time she went to get it renewed, it was approved for an additional 5 years.
So the one thing that I'd like to know about this most recent one is, did she tell them that she had an immigrant visa pending that you had filed for her?
Yes, she did tell
Okay,
them that.
good. All right. So if mom can come to if mom buys a plane ticket and comes to the United States and makes it through customs, now she can't lie. So if they say, who are you coming to see? I'm going to see my daughter. Has your daughter filed an immigrant petition for you?
Mhm.
Yes, she has. If they ask, she doesn't need to run in there and say, I got this visit visa, but I also got this pending I-130. You know, you don't want to do that. But if she makes it through and she comes to see you, she could look around and say, boy, things are a lot safer here than in Port-au-Prince, and I feel a whole lot safer here with you, Roxanne. I don't feel like going back. And then she filed for a green card with the approved I-130. She could do
Mhm.
everything here.
Okay. So basically, would her role would have to be to speak to customs because she does have a ticket to come and visit me and for New Year's. So would the goal be for her, like whenever she does talk to custom, to let them know that she feels like a lot safer in the US, and then from there on they could do something?
No,
No.
no. She should just say she should say as little as possible to customs. Hi, my name's Mary. I'm coming to see my daughter. My name's Mary. I'm coming to see my daughter. Okay, then see what they ask, right? But I wouldn't talk about safety in Haiti. I wouldn't talk about anything as far as the green card unless they ask, right?
Okay. Now let's say if they don't ask, what would be the steps that I could take? Like, is it even possible to move a case like that to the
It's not.
U.S.?
It's not moving. You'd file an I-45. You'd file for actual adjustment. You'd want to wait past 60 days of her entry. So if she enters on January 2nd and she decides to stay in March, then have her file in March, and then she can apply for a green card and just wait the whole process until she gets her. You can apply for a work card and a travel card and all that stuff until she gets the green card.
So to file for, you said I-145.
485.
Okay, an I-485, and that's to basically to see if she could be able to have her case transferred to the U.S.
It's not technically that's what you keep saying. It's not transferring the case. It's about sort of like starting over, although they've already approved the relationship. So they've already they've already decided that Roxanne is your mother. So now it's about whether or not she gets a green card. And you would also file for a work card and a travel card. There's like 6 sets of forms that you would file.
Okay, 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 yeah. And the second question that I had is for my mom's interview, she's pretty like curious about like what questions they might ask her. I keep trying to tell her probably might be evident questions like who's trying to bring you here, what's your connection to the
Yeah.
person. Do you think there's any like tricky questions they might ask like in her interview?
No, not for a parent case. Sometimes those cases are approved even without an interview. So they don't get, as long as they've decided she's your mom, then it's just a matter of whether she has any crimes or any other reason she's inadmissible to the United States. But that's probably nothing.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Roxanne. Have a great day. All right. I see an old friend here. Let's say hi. Hi, Vadim.
Hi Jim, how are you today? Can you hear
Great,
me?
buddy. Yeah, I got you. How are you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Great. What's up?
Couple of questions. So, for my friend who received an interview letter for his naturalization case, now they asked him to bring his passport for the most recent travels.
Okay.
And what if he lost it? He said that he lost it. What's gonna happen? It's gonna.
Did he file a police report?
Okay, so that's what one step he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think they'll say at the interview.
Well, they won't like it.
This is gonna delay the case.
Maybe, maybe not. What is he from Russia?
That was Belarusian passport.
Belarus. Okay. What about trips? Has he had a bunch of trips outside the United States?
He did have a recent few trips this year.
So he's gonna. He's gonna need to prove those up when he entered and when he came back, and that's gonna be tricky without the stamps and the passport. So one thing I would say for sure is he needs to be very solid. I left the United States on April 24th, 2020, and I returned on May 17th, 2020. Like, he can't be like, yeah, then there was this one trip where I went back to Belarus and it was, I don't know, last spring or something. He's got to like nail that shit down so he's able to rattle it off. And, if that means bringing travel receipts and all that stuff. One thing that they might ask about is whether he lost his passport in the United States or outside. Like, that they're not going to like it.
So it will raise some suspicion on their end.
Yeah, I would think so.
Gotcha. Well, I had a question. Then, the last time he saw his passport, he claimed that they did not stamp it for the last entry.
That could be.
And is it an issue?
Does he have a photocopy of the passport?
Like the front page? Or...
Yeah, the front page. Yeah.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, so see if he can look up on the I-94 online. Even if they didn't stamp it, they might have just electronically done an I-94 that he might be able to look up if he runs his passport number through that I-94 lookup.
Because last time we checked, we couldn't find anything on the CBP website.
Yeah, this doesn't sound good. They're not going to like this.
Gotcha. So no stop. Okay. And just one more question about my wife, if I could.
Just real quick before you do, what was the last time or last place he came through from overseas?
Boston.
Okay. All right.
And
so your wife?
Yeah. So it's about time for her to apply for the citizenship as well. But he's worried about the civics test. What if she doesn't pass it the first attempt?
Then if you don't pass, then 60 days later they'll schedule you for another chance. You get 2 chances before you lose your filing fee and have to start over.
Oh, no repay for the second chance?
Nope, you don't have to pay for the second chance.
So the following question is, what if she doesn't pass twice?
Then she's got to pay again and start over.
The entire N400 application?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Thanks so much, Jim.
Bye, Vadim. Okay. See you, buddy.
I love you so much being a tough coach. That was awesome.
Thanks, man. I'm glad. See ya. All right, bye. All right, that's our old friend Vadim. He's always here hanging out. We're always glad to see Vadim. Let's say hi to Neva. Hi, Neva.
Hello, Jim. How have you been?
How are you?
Been good. I'm actually at work, but it's okay. My work is flexible like that.
Nice.
So I wanted to ask you, I'm an F1 student on an OPT visa, and I'm planning to do my master's program, which would start next fall. So I have my OPT until May. Usually fall term starts around August or September. So I was wondering, like, I'm really interested in an internship. All the good internships are during the summer. Is there any way I can do an internship while I'm here?
So were you a May grad?
Yes, I was.
And you must have got your OPT application in super early.
Yeah, I got it like a week after, just because I felt like I would get a job quickly, and I did have a job at that time. So
yeah, so OPT ends like towards the end of May of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be able to do an internship over the summer, and then
before my master starts in August.
Are you changing schools?
Yes, I would be.
So Neva, I actually don't know the answer to this question. Have you talked to your DSO about it?
No, I haven't. My DSO sort of left the school. I think they're going to find a replacement for her. So I'm not too sure. Like where there's a will, there's a way. I feel like there might be some wiggle room, some loophole, some credit I can take in my new college or my old college.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is there a way that you could do CPT for the summer, either at the new school or through the old school? I think you just got to start beating the bushes and talking to the DSOs about that.
Okay, yeah.
But I have a friend who, she's like my international student guru. I'll ask her, because that's an interesting question. I haven't really thought about what happens to the international students who finish OPT, whose employers don't sponsor. You're not going to go through the H-1B lottery?
No, I am not. Just because I have just had a 1-year OPT, and I don't feel like my employers are in a comfortable position to do that. I'm in a contractor position, so it's also not possible.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So I don't know what happens to those students who don't go through the H-1B lottery, but then don't start their master's until September. I don't know what happens to them. I would assume that usually the old school keeps them on status up until the end of the summer, but I don't know for sure. So I'll find that out.
All right. Another really quick question is, when I am going to do my master's, I believe I might be married to somebody who is going to be from here, and so like to apply for EAD card is to apply for everything else, but for me, working towards something like, say, a EAD card, so I can work towards my career. Just like, what would be the timeline of it? How quickly does an EAD card come for somebody who's on an OPT?
So you're talking about an EAD based on the marriage? So when, forget about immigration, when do you think you'd get married?
2023 or 2024 is the plan.
All right. So let's say you got married December of 2023. Let's just, to make life easy. If you applied right after you got married, you might get fingerprinted, or they might waive your fingerprints like at the end of January 2024. You'd probably get your EAD about 5 or 6 months later. Although you heard that guy at the top of the call, he got his EAD in 2 months. So maybe they're getting faster. I don't know.
Oh, that's really good to know. My past EAD came in within like 3 weeks. But that's a F1 EAD. But usually graduation time is busy. But they have been on top of.
Yeah, I'm still telling people 6 months. But if things start going faster, then everybody wins.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
Bye, Neva. Good luck. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. All right. Let's say hi to Brooklyn. Hi, Brooklyn.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So I have a quick question. So I have a friend of mine. He came to US with work visa, and he stayed here and asked asylum. And at the meantime, he found his wife. They got married and they got children. And he filed through his wife green card, and he got approved just recently, 10 years green card.
Great.
And when is the good time to visit his family back to his home country?
Never.
Okay. I mean, what if he?
He swore under oath. That if he goes back to his home country, he's going to be persecuted. Now, I'm sort of joking about never. So
Okay.
if he can demonstrate that things have changed back in the home country. So let's say that, government A was in power when he applied for asylum, and he thought government A was going to persecute him, and now government B's there, then that might be one way he can go back. The other thing is maybe after he gets his citizenship, then he can go back. But what he doesn't want to have happen is for him to apply for citizenship and for them to say, hey, you swore to us that it wasn't safe for you to go back, but it looks like since you got your green card through your spouse, you've gone back to that country that you said was so dangerous, that you said under oath would persecute you. And now why should we believe anything you say when you lied to us, right? So that's what we don't want to happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That was easy. Bye, Brooklyn.
Have a
See ya. All right, yeah, that's the thing with, asylum cases taking so long. Now people are falling in love and filing for a green card based on that. They're like, screw that asylum case. I'm going for the green card based on marriage because people have been here for so freaking long. I'm happy to report that we have our first guest from the Pixar universe. Buzz Lightyear is here. Hi, Buzz.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Sorry, I don't really want to be on the camera.
That's fine.
If that's
can
okay.
I just say one thing?
Yes.
To infinity and beyond. All right. No, I'm totally cool with anonymous calls. Go ahead, Buzz.
Cool. I have two questions. The first one would be a hypothetical. It may or may not relate to my case.
All right, perfect. I like hypotheticals from Buzz Lightyear. Yep.
Thank you. So let's say there is this person, let's call her Sarah,
Okay.
foreign national. She's from China. She has a birthday on her passport and on the birth certificate, what the equivalent to a birth certificate that's recognized by the State Department through the Visa Reciprocity website.
Got it.
So they have a birthday that let's say it's June 1st on birth certificate. However, Sarah celebrates on May 1st, and on all of her social media, it says that her birthday is May 1st. And on 485, when you fill in your birthday, Sarah said that, hey, I'm gonna explain that I have two birthdays. One is my legal birthday, the other one is the one to celebrate. Would that constitute a problem down the line?
So here's what I would say. Well, here's the question I would have for Sarah. What day was Sarah born on?
Oh, that's a mystery. Because in China, back in the 90s when they were born, there weren't any like standardized birth certificate.
Yeah.
Even on the State Department website, it says the same information, and like they want you to go and get this other thing called notarial birth thing from like the public safety department.
Yeah. So I don't think Sarah needs to worry about the State Department or USCIS going back to compare the date of birth on Sarah's official documents versus what Sarah says on Facebook. I have never had that come up. I doubt that would come up. I've had lots of interviews where they said, "Hey, Sarah, have you ever gone by any other name?" And Sarah goes, "Well, sometimes I go by Buzz Lightyear," but but I haven't had them ever say, "Hey, Sarah, have you ever gone by any other birth date?" Like, I haven't had that happen. Now, let me think for a minute because,
Well, but let's say it's a marriage case. I'm sorry to cut you off, but let's say it's a marriage case. And their spouse would be asked maybe the question, like, when was your spouse born? And because Sarah celebrates the birthday that's not on her legal papers, the spouse might be saying the other birthday.
So that's a great question. So here's the thing. We need an educated spouse in that scenario. We need a spouse who can articulate it in the exact same way that Sarah has done so eloquently here on the Immigration Answer Show. That is, the date that Sarah was born is unknown. Sarah's official date of birth is June 1st. And this happened all the time for our old Iraqi clients. Our old Iraqi clients, everybody got born in the village. Nobody recorded it. People didn't have birth certificates like they do in Washington, D.C. or Seattle or Texas or whatever. So as long as you pick an official date, and I would have that date be the date on the passport, that's the official date. We think that's pretty close to the way I would explain it is, we believe Sarah was born on or around June 1st. Back in China, when Sarah was born, there weren't the complete records that there are now or that there were in America at that time. So even though the official date is June 1st, sometimes we celebrate it on different days because we're not entirely sure Sarah's actual date of birth, but that's her official legal birth date. And then be quiet. And then have Sarah and Sarah's spouse both explain it the same way. That's it.
So there's a problem with that explanation because on 485, they ask you, have you ever used any other birth dates in association to your name? Yes, actually.
Oh, see, shows what I know. I'm glad somebody's out there reading the 485, Sarah. Thanks for that.
And to be truthful, Sarah put in the part 14 the additional information saying that Sarah was born on June 1st. However, Sarah celebrates on May 1st. That's all the information. And
I think that's fine.
is that good enough for the government?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
And since you say that I won't look you up, well, my second question was going to be about pronouns. So
Okay,
let's
go
say
ahead.
there's an abundance of information on Sarah on the internet. Sarah has done lots of interviews on their career online, and on the online, Sarah uses they them pronoun, and on paper, Sarah's gender is she her. So would that be a problem in front of the USCIS? Like if Sarah's spouse go up, be like, oh, my spouse, they, them, whatever, and then would that confuse the officer?
It might confuse the officer, but it's not going to cause any problems. In my experience, they don't want to touch he, his, he, him, she, her, they, them. I think they're going to let anything goes on that.
Okay. That would be all of my questions. Thank you so much for taking my call, and thank you so much for doing this.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
It's not every day we get a celebrity on the show. Not every day we get a celebrity. We'll be back. Hooli, what time are we coming back tomorrow? 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central. We'll be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. Thursday, I'm going to check out colleges with number 3 son, the one and only Ibrahim R. Hacking the First. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I may or may not be wearing my Yes sweatshirt. This might be a one and done. We will see. I might have to break out some Jets gear because, as you all know, the Jets are 2-2. They are ahead of the New England Patriots in the standings for the first time since week 3 of 2012 season. So how about that? Your Jets are 2-2.